Welcome to Peacefulness, Sharlee. Today's practice is a yoga chill. I'm super excited to have you join me on the mat today. We all feel, stressed, or maybe we just need a moment. I have a 4-year-old, so most of the time I do need this almost daily. You know how it is. So if you would like, bring a bolster. Or if you don't have a bolster, I just took a blanket and I rolled it up here. We're going to start out nice and chill with either our bolster or our blanket. And we're just going to dive right in and get started. So we're going to start in a corpse pose here. Only we're going to bring that blanket or the bolster right up to the back here as we lay across it. And we find a comfortable place here to rest. Feeling that opening in the chest. The legs are uncomfortable here. You might bring the feet to the mat, bring them as wide as the mat, and bring the knees in. Just find your spot to fully relax. And just breathe. Nothing has to be done in this moment. This moment's for you. I've got my trusty sidekick Pete here with me today. He is practicing his chill yoga also. Notice if your mind is racing here. Maybe let those thoughts float away for right now. Maybe taking a moment to notice the breath. Notice as you inhale, belly rises, and exhale, belly falls. And we're just going to take a moment here to do a body scan. Notice if there are any places that you feel stuck or tight here. Just notice. Notice if any feelings come up while we do this body scan. Just taking the time to bring a little awareness to each part of the body. Let's explore together. So we'll start with the toes. Then the feet. Then the ankles. And then the calves. The knees. And the thighs. And then we'll work our way up to the hips here. And then the torso. And then the chest. Again, feeling that opening in the chest as we're lifted up by our bolster here. And then we'll notice the right shoulder, the right bicep, elbow, arm, then the fingers. And there I am, gripping in the fingers. So I let it release here. We'll move on to the left side. Noticing the left shoulder, bicep, the elbow, the forearm, and then the fingers. And then we'll take a moment here to notice the spine. We'll start at the very end, right there at the tailbone. We'll notice all the way up to the crown of the head here. Noticing that little bit of curvature at the bottom, if you're on a bolster, how it kind of does a little wave, and makes its way up. And then we'll take a moment here to notice the face. Notice if you're gripping or holding in the jaw, maybe the forehead here. See if we can completely relax. And come back to the breath here. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll just slowly roll over to one side. Any side you pick here. As we push our bolster away, we'll come into a fetal position here. Maybe grabbing those knees, if that feels good, giving yourself a little hug. We all have hectic days and things that stress us out, but taking this time on the mat to just calm it down. We remove ourselves from that fight or flight mode and put us back into a sense of chill. We can breathe deeper. Be clear of mind. All right. Whenever you're ready, we'll slowly make our way up to a seat here. Taking our time, moving nice and slow today. And we'll take a moment to roll up through the spine. And then we'll dive right into a little movement here. So let's start with the neck here. Starting with some neck circles. Again, nice and slow. Noticing all the sensations. Maybe even a pop and a creak here or there. And then we'll reverse our circle. All right. And then we'll plant through that right palm. Lift that left hand up high as we take it over to the right side here. Doing a little side body stretch. And take a moment here, maybe round through. You can take that elbow back and open up through the chest. Again, today we are feeling it out. Taking a moment to notice those sensations in the body. To follow our breath as we inhale, bring it back up. Plant through that left palm. Inhale, bring that right hand up and over to the left side here. Again, just exploring this stretch. And then whenever you're ready, we'll bring it back up and we'll come on to all fours here. We're gonna jump right in with a little cat-cow. First, we need to set up our foundation. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. As we inhale, drop the belly. And exhale, round through the spine. Inhale, drop the belly. And let's see if we can articulate this a little bit. So we'll start at the tailbone here as we use that motion to roll up each and every vertebrae all the way until you get your chin to your chest. And let's try that again. Inhale, drop the belly. And ever so slowly start at the tailbone. Work our way up until we're to our chin to our chest. Do that a couple more times here. And then we'll bring it back to that tabletop position. We're going to do a little balancing table here. So we'll start with the right foot, taking it out, coming on to those right toes. And then we'll rock a little bit back and forth here, stretching through the leg and the foot. And whenever you're ready, we'll inhale, lift that right leg. We'll take our gaze straight down. And you might stop here, or you might come on to the left fingertips. Or you might lift the left fingertips. Balancing here, engaging through the core. On our next inhale, you might stay here, or as you exhale, you might bring it in here. Left elbow to right knee. Bringing our chin to our chest and rounding through the spine. On an inhale, we'll lengthen. And on an exhale, we'll bring it in. One more time here. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, we'll bring it in. We'll plant through that left palm, coming back onto those right toes here. You might move your bolster out of the way. We're going to inhale, lift that right leg up high. And exhale, we're going to bring it to the right side here, coming onto that right foot. Taking one breath here. And then we'll inhale, bring it back up. And exhale, we're going to take it to the left side here, coming onto the right fingertip or right toes here. Maybe looking at that right foot. We're going to speed this up just a little bit. So we'll inhale, bring that right leg back to center. Exhale, we'll take it to the right side, looking at those right toes. Inhale, bring it back to center, and exhale, we'll take it to the left side. One more time here, following your breath. Inhale, we'll bring it back to center, and then we'll release that right leg. Maybe tossing the hips a little side to side. And let's go ahead and drop the elbows where the hands were. And we'll walk the knees back, coming into a little puppy pose here. Bring the forehead to the mat or a block. And just breathe here. Taking a moment to notice if your mind is still racing. Just notice and be aware. Again, maybe letting them go for just now, just for this practice, just this moment. And on an exhale, we'll bring it back up. And we're going to take it to the other side here, taking the left toes back. Rocking a little back and forth here. Whenever you're ready, we'll lift the left toes. Maybe coming onto the right fingertips or lifting the right hand up. Again, finding your balance here, engaging through your core. Gaze straight down. We'll inhale in and exhale. We'll bring it all in. Right elbow to left knee. Bring our chin to the chest and rounding through the spine. 2 more times here. And I just want to put this out here. If your balancing table is swaying or if you happen to fall, you fall to the mat, that's totally okay. We're building strength here. Don't be discouraged. It takes time. All right, we'll come back onto those left toes. Again, we'll lift that left foot up. We'll inhale in. And exhale, we'll bring it over to the left side here. Coming onto that left foot. We'll take just a breath here. Making sure that we're keeping that right hip and right knee in line here. Inhale, we'll bring it back up. Bring it to center, and exhale, we'll take it over to the right side, looking at those left toes. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, we'll take it to the left here. Again, taking a moment to look at those beautiful left toes. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, take it to the right. One more time here, following your breath. We'll bring it back to center. And then we'll release that left leg to the mat here, back in our tabletop position. And then we're just going to bring that left foot up and in here. Coming into our low lunge. Taking a moment to get set up. Making sure that left knee is over the left ankle, that we're not coming any farther forward than that. And whenever you're ready, we're going to inhale, lift it up, bringing the hands up high. And exhale, we're going to grab that left wrist, taking it to the right side here. And then we'll inhale, bring the hands up high, and exhale, we'll bring it to cactus arms here. Really opening up through the chest. Gaze up at the sky. Inhale, we'll bring the hands up high. And exhale, we're going to take the hands wide here, opening up to the right side. Inhale, hands up high. And exhale, we'll bring it down here. Now we're just going to bring that left hand over to the right side here. And it's a good idea, especially for a beginner here, to grab a block or your bolster or your blanket, whatever you've got. Maybe a book, maybe a pot or a pan. Whatever's hanging around. All right, we're here. And we're going to inhale, lift that right hand up high. And like I said, if you're a beginner, sometimes it's hard to get that right shoulder back here. So it's always great to bring your block here to help open up. Take one more breath here. And exhale, we'll release. We'll plant through that right palm, bringing the left hand back over to the left side. As we come on to the left heel here, flexing the toes towards the face and rounding through the spine. Again, this is a great place to bring those blocks into play. Always helpful to help bring that earth up to you. And now we're going to play a little bit back and forth. So we're going to inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, fold it over, bringing the chin to the chest. Again, inhale, lengthen through the spine, gaze forward, and exhale, round through the spine. Let's do one more here. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, chin to chest. All right, and then we'll roll back onto that left foot here. Plant through the palms as we just take that left foot back. And let's just tick-tock the hips here, looking past the left shoulder and then the right. Noticing how maybe this left side feels different from the right here. And then we'll bring that right foot up and in. Taking our time here. Creating our strong foundation. Whenever you're ready, we'll inhale, lift the hands up high. Exhale, we'll grab the right wrist with the left hand as we open it up to the left side here. Inhale, hands up high. Exhale, we'll bring it into cactus arms. Inhale, hands up high. And exhale, we'll open up, bringing the hands wide, opening up to that left side. Inhale, hands up high. As we exhale, bring it down. Bring that right hand over to the left side, or over to the left side here. Again, maybe taking a block or coming onto the fingertips here. We'll inhale, lift that left hand up high. Taking a moment here to create a little resistance. So you're wanting that left hand to be pushing into that right leg pushing into the left arm here. Creating an engagement in that entire right leg. All right, and then we'll release that. We'll come onto that right heel here, flexing the right toes towards the face. Again, maybe bringing those blocks back in, creating a little lift here. As we inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, round. Inhale, lengthen. Just take a moment here to notice how when we're lengthened through the spine, how the stretch feels different than whenever we round. All right, then we'll release that. Come back onto the palms here as we bring that right leg back. And we're just gonna come on to the belly here. I'm gonna scooch back just a little bit. Pete's taking up a little bit of my yoga mat here. That's okay. We're gonna come into a Sphinx pose here. So the shoulders and the elbows are in line here. Our hands are 2 parallel lines. As we inhale, we'll look forward. Careful not to crunch in the back of the neck. And then we're just gonna bend at the right knee here, bringing the toes up. As we inhale in, exhale, we're gonna look at those right toes here, looking past our right shoulder. And this may be it for you. But if you would like, you can go ahead and grab that right foot with your right hand here. Getting a little quad stretch, opening up through the chest. Making sure we're not dumping all of our weight into that left arm here. You're coming up and out of it. And then we'll release that. We'll come back to our Sphinx pose for just a breath. And then we'll lift that left leg up. Bending at the knee here. Inhale in as we exhale. Look at those left toes. And again, you might stay here. But if you'd like a little more, you might grab that left foot with the left hand. Inhale, spiral your heart towards the sky. And then we'll release it. We're going to bring the elbows wide. One hand on top of the other. As we bring our forehead to the hands here. Maybe take a moment here to toss the hips a little side to side. Then whenever you're ready, we'll bring that right knee up to wherever is comfortable. So it might come all the way up. You might keep it farther down. Just notice how this feels in your body and honor that today. As we open up through the hips here and breathe. Taking a moment here to make sure the shoulders are down, back body. And maybe notice your jaw here, making sure you're not locking through the jaw, not clenching the teeth. And take one more breath here. And then we'll release that. And we'll bring that left knee up and in here. Getting zenned out already. Just breathe. And then we'll release that. We'll slowly make our way back to our Sphinx pose. And as we're here in our Sphinx pose, let's go ahead and curl the toes under. We'll inhale in as we exhale. Lift the body up, coming into a forearm plank here. I bet you weren't expecting that on our chill yoga. But we're going to do it here. We're going to take 4 big breaths here. You got it. 2 more breaths here. Hold steady with me. Feel that shake, that prana. Know that you're alive today. And on that last breath out, let's let it out the mouth. As we bring the knees to the mat here. And walk it up into our tabletop position. We'll swing the legs to one side. Let's take it to the back here. Now, if you brought your bolster or your rolled up blanket, whatever you got, let's use that as a pillow today. As we bring the legs out. And we lay down here. And find that surrender just as we did at the beginning of this practice. And it's your choice here. You might use that bolster again like we did at the beginning, or you might bring it underneath the head. You might bring it maybe a little bit farther down here to the shoulder blades. Or you might unravel it and cover yourself in a blanket. The option's yours. Be creative. And let's find this place of complete chill. As again, we notice the breath. You might incorporate that body scan that we started with one last time. Or you might just notice the breath. As we lay here in Shavasana, maybe we allow ourselves a little grace. We all have moments that are stressful, where life is hectic, where you tend to be more on the reaction side instead of on the calm and cool side. We're brought into that fight or flight mode for so many different reasons. But today, maybe we allow ourselves some grace and some love for taking the time here on the mat to calm that nervous system down and bring us back to a state of chill. Whenever you're ready, we'll wiggle the fingertips and the toes. We'll take the ankles and the wrists in a couple circles, one way and then the other. And then we'll bring one knee up and then the other. As we slowly come up here, we're just going to inhale, lengthen through the spine. As we exhale, hug our knees here. One last hug here, because you are awesome. And I want to thank you so much for joining me in this practice. And I want to thank Pete here for joining us, showing us what the true chill is all about. Well, now you're going to leave. I hope you have an amazing day. I hope this video helped. Leave comments down below. Let me know how you like to find your chill. If you'd like to, you can bring the hands to the heart here. We'll inhale in. And exhale, we'll bring the chin to the chest. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.